Have you ever tried to change your life by making a big decision, only to find yourself slipping back into the same routines after a few days or weeks? Many people believe that major change requires massive effort, strong motivation, or dramatic transformation. However, James Clear explains in his book Atomic Habits that real change rarely happens this way. Instead, lasting transformation is built on tiny behaviors that are repeated consistently. These small behaviors are what he calls atomic habits. Atomic habits are small improvements that seem insignificant at first, but when repeated day after day they compound into remarkable results. The central idea of the book is that success is not the result of one huge breakthrough, but the result of hundreds or thousands of small improvements that accumulate over time. Just as money multiplies through compound interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. This means that small choices made consistently can eventually shape the direction of your entire life. When people start a new habit, they often expect to see immediate results. If they do not see quick progress, they become discouraged and give up. Clear explains that habits work on a delayed timeline. Early progress is often invisible. For a long time it may feel as if nothing is happening. This period is what he describes as the plateau of latent potential. During this phase, the results of your efforts are building beneath the surface. Eventually, however, the accumulated effect of those small actions reaches a threshold where progress suddenly becomes visible. This idea is similar to heating an ice cube in a room that is below freezing. If the temperature slowly rises from 25 degrees to 31 degrees, nothing appears to happen. The cube remains frozen. But when the temperature reaches 32 degrees, the ice begins to melt. The change did not suddenly appear out of nowhere. It was the result of gradual progress that had been building the entire time. Another important idea in the book is the difference between goals and systems. Many people focus heavily on goals. They set goals to lose weight, read more books, build a business, or learn a new skill. Goals provide direction, but Clear explains that they are not the most important factor in success. What truly matters are the systems that support those goals. A goal is the outcome you want to achieve, while a system is the process that leads to that outcome. For example, if your goal is to write a book, your system might be writing a few pages every day. If your goal is to become physically fit, your system might be exercising regularly and maintaining healthy routines. According to Clear, winners and losers often have the same goals. The difference lies in the systems they follow every day. Focusing only on goals can sometimes create problems. When people reach their goal, they often stop the behaviors that help them succeed. But when people focus on systems instead, they continue improving because their daily habits remain consistent. Long-term progress comes from maintaining the right systems rather than chasing individual outcomes. Another key concept in Atomic Habits is identity. Clear explains that lasting behavior change is deeply connected to how people see themselves. Every action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. When you repeat a behavior consistently, you reinforce a particular identity. For example, someone who reads every day begins to see themselves as a reader. Someone who exercises regularly starts to view themselves as a healthy person. Instead of focusing on what you want to achieve, Clear encourages focusing on who you want to become. When your habits align with your identity, maintaining them becomes much easier because the behavior reflects who you believe you are. This creates a powerful feedback loop. Your habits shape your identity, and your identity influences your habits. Each small action strengthens the belief that you are the kind of person who performs that behavior. Over time, this loop can transform how you think about yourself and how you behave in everyday situations. The book also introduces a simple framework for building good habits and breaking bad ones. Clear calls this framework the 4 laws of behavior change. These laws describe how habits are formed and how they can be designed intentionally. The first law is to make the habit obvious. Habits begin with cues that trigger a behavior. These cues are often found in the environment around us. When a cue becomes noticeable and consistent, it increases the likelihood that a behavior will follow. Because of this, Clear emphasizes the importance of designing your environment so that positive habits are easy to notice. For example, if you want to read more, placing a book where you can easily see it increases the chances that you will pick it up. The second law is to make the habit attractive. Humans are naturally drawn toward behaviors that provide rewards or satisfaction. When a habit is appealing, motivation increases and the behavior becomes easier to repeat. One method described in the book is temptation bundling, which involves pairing an activity you need to do with something you enjoy doing. By linking the two behaviors together, the habit becomes more appealing and more likely to occur consistently. The third law is to make the habit easy. One of the biggest obstacles to building new habits is friction. If a behavior requires too much effort, people are less likely to repeat it. Clear explains that reducing friction makes it easier for habits to form. Instead of trying to perform a large task immediately, he suggests starting with very small actions. This idea is expressed through the 2-minute rule. When starting a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to complete. The goal is not to achieve perfection immediately, but to establish the routine. Once the habit becomes automatic, it can gradually grow in complexity and duration. The fourth law is to make the habit satisfying. Behaviors that produce a sense of reward are more likely to be repeated. Humans are wired to seek immediate gratification, which means that habits must feel rewarding in the short term if they are going to continue. Tracking progress, celebrating small wins, and seeing visible signs of improvement can reinforce the satisfaction associated with a habit. Just as these 4 laws help create good habits, the same principles can be reversed to break bad habits. To eliminate a negative behavior, the cue should be made invisible, the behavior should become unattractive, the action should be difficult to perform, and the results should feel unsatisfying. By adjusting these elements, it becomes easier to reduce behaviors that do not support your goals or identity. Throughout the book, Clear emphasizes the importance of environment. Many people assume that habits are mainly driven by willpower, but the book argues that environment often plays a larger role. The spaces we live and work in shape our behavior in powerful ways. By designing an environment that supports positive routines, good habits can become the natural default choice. For example, if healthy food is easily accessible while unhealthy snacks are hidden or unavailable, people are more likely to make better choices. If tools for productive work are organized and ready to use, it becomes easier to focus on meaningful tasks. Small changes in the environment can reduce decision fatigue and guide behavior in the desired direction. Ultimately, the message of Atomic Habits is simple but powerful. Meaningful change does not require dramatic effort or extreme discipline. Instead, it comes from the consistent repetition of small actions that gradually shape behavior, identity, and results. Tiny habits may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they accumulate into remarkable transformation. By focusing on small improvements, building effective systems, shaping identity through repeated actions, and applying the 4 laws of behavior change, anyone can create habits that lead to lasting success. The process may begin with something as simple as a single small action, but when that action is repeated consistently, it has the power to change the direction of an entire life.